The New York Giants went out there and made a decision on Jaxson Dart to start him for their upcoming game versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And it was a decision that everybody in New York and everybody around the NFL was saying, hey, Russell Wilson ain't it anymore. On today's episode, we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about, is this now the end for Russell Wilson? And then we got to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, their atrocious offensive line, and how it has held back Ashton Jeanty, and why some people calling him mid. Just hold on just a little bit more. You know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hit the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and if you're tuned in, love talking football, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, yesterday it was announced that the New York Giants went out there and made a decision on their starting quarterback moving forward, and in their game coming up this week, they elected to name Jaxson Dart the starter to move forward through this 2025 NFL season. Before we talk about Russell Wilson, I definitely want to show Jaxson Dart some love and really say this is a hell of an opportunity for the young fella. We've seen flashes and glimpses in the preseason of the arm talent, of being able to hit the short routes, the intermediate routes, hit some passes over the middle of the field, and hit passes down the field. And we know that Jaxson Dart, as a young quarterback, can come in and give the Giants offense more than Russell Wilson has given them over the last few weeks. The Giants right now are 0-3, and this is definitely one of those things that you had to look into. The team is just not feeling Russell Wilson. It was definitely just one of those things to where you look at Russell Wilson and you just think like to yourself, like, dang, what happened, bro? Because it was definitely a move that absolutely had to be made now at this particular time. I understood that the Giants wanted to buy themselves time to allow the game to kind of slow down for Jaxson Dart, to allow him to learn the offense a little bit more, to be in the preparation room when it comes to game planning, understanding some problems that may occur, some solutions that may be available, the whatnot. But now is the time. Now is the time. This is going to be the ultimate teacher for a guy like Jaxson Dart. What I know, when my expectations for Jaxson Dart is go out there and just follow the game plan, bro. You have a tough matchup coming up this week versus the Chargers. I necessarily don't give you a shot, but hey, you can go out there and shock the world. Jaxson Dart, you can go out there and shock the world in your first game. I don't necessarily believe it's going to happen, but hey, I've seen crazier things in the NFL, and I know that one thing he's going to give the New York Giants offense that Russell Wilson couldn't give them was a more athletic quarterback that can make things happen when things break down. And I predict that Jaxson Dart will be able to do things a little bit more different than Russell Wilson in just about every aspect of the passing game, me personally. Now let's talk about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I'm not even going to BS around. Russell Wilson, I think this is the end of him. I think it's over with. Ever since Russell Wilson has left Seattle, it has been bad. So bad to where when he landed in Denver, Sean Payton came in and said, hell no. Then he went over to Pittsburgh. They said, hell no. Now you up in New York with the Giants, and they said after that debacle of a drive that he put together to where they was in the red zone and there was passes into the damn the Owls, passes into the end zone, passes that did not make sense or give wide receivers opportunities to even make a play. We understand that Russell Wilson put together a really good game versus the Dallas Cowboys, where I believe he had over 450 yards, a bunch of deep balls down the field, a couple touchdowns, a bunch of other. It was a performance, but it ain't been good enough, brother. And I'm going to keep it real with you. Russell Wilson has fallen off the cliff completely. He had one finger on. One more opportunity to go ahead and make it happen. But I think that if Russell Wilson now wants to continue his career, it will be as a backup quarterback. That's just how I'm looking at the whole Russell Wilson stuff. He has fallen off a cliff. He will be a backup quarterback if he wants to continue his career in the NFL. Nobody is really going to hold up all the things that he has done anymore. They're kicking him to the wayside. They're not even considering him. They saying, hey, we'll take the money. We'll take the charges. That's what they said in Denver. We'll take the charges. Now, Russell Wilson, what once was a really good quarterback, still can come in and probably give you a game or two. But I think that is going to be best suited if he's coming off the bench for your team. It happens. It's the life of the NFL. It's just life. Shit, it's just life. That's just what happens in life. Sometimes when you're not performing at your best, teams will kick you to the wayside or put you in a different position. Corporations or companies will kick you to the wayside, put you in a different position, even if they want to keep you around a little bit more. So now I think that if Russell Wilson wants to continue his playing career, it will be solely as a backup. That's just my prediction. They can, again, obviously go another way, but I think backup quarterback is now going to be next to Russell Wilson's name for the rest of his career. And it happens. Maybe Russell Wilson can go out there and have a Joe Flacco type of thing. Joe Flacco, starter, Super Bowl champion, started to become a backup, came in off the couch, led the team into the playoffs after, sitting a little while with the Cleveland Browns. Had bounced around a little bit, came back to Cleveland, and then now he's a starter again. Maybe that's the trajectory for Russell Wilson. But as of right now, I don't see the New York Giants, placing Russell Wilson back into the starting lineup just because it was some bonehead stuff that he was doing as a veteran quarterback. We got to call it how we see it, y'all. We have to call it how we see it. Russell Wilson was doing a bunch of bonehead stuff as a starter in this league, a Super Bowl champion in this league. So it is what it is at this particular moment. Maybe he can be the backup, come in, help the young fella. If the young fella goes down a little bit, they insert him. He goes and play a game and then go sit his ass back down on the bench. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You still getting paid Manyan. It's humbling. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a humbling experience. I'm not in that position, but I would expect that type of situation is a humbling experience. So might have to get humbled a little bit, pray about it. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead and do what you got to do. And then just be a good backup quarterback for the rest of your career. It is what it is. But hey, now we move on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders, they 1-2. You know what I'm saying? They won a game. But something wrong with that offense. All of us see it. Even if you're not watching closely, if you go in and you turn on all 22, you turn on the YouTube full game highlights, you go on to NFL.com, turn on the full highlights, you see that the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line, atrocious. That's it. Atrocious. Like, it's crazy when you got reporters that write, beat writers that write for a team and just be like, yeah, bro, it's just obvious. It's obvious that the offensive line is bad. We even got some stuff from my guy, Ryan McFadden, who covers the Raiders for ESPN, went out and tweeted this about Ashton Jeanty and the offensive line because they are one when it comes to this running game. They are one. He said running back Ashton Jeanty was hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on 11 of 17 rushes versus Washington. Jeanty has now been hit at or behind the line on 57% of his rush attempts this season. My God, is that atrocious? My God, is that atrocious? You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that you got one of the best running back prospects coming into your team and you put him behind a offensive line that has him being hit on 57% of his rush attempts at or behind the line? That is atrocious. Now, for my people that's out there saying that Ashton Jeanty is buns, that he's mid, he's not this, he's not that, I would say pump the brakes a little bit, because we all know offensive line matters. And in this draft, there were some people telling the Las Vegas Raiders, hey, instead of going to get Ashton Jeanty, let the Bears go out there and let the Bears go get Ashton Jeanty. Y'all should be focusing on offensive line to put in front of Geno Smith. They said, nah, we want the running back. They said, nah, we want the running back. And they went down and got themselves a running back. Hence why Ashton Jeanty has not looked good this season. Now, there are a number of other things, too. You know what I'm saying? You see Ashton Jeanty in pass blocking situations where those situations look abysmal. Yeah, I ain't going to absolve him from that criticism. There are also times where you be like, dang, bro, you can't come off the tackle. Yeah, I feel it. But there are times to where Ashton Jeanty is fighting for his life for 3 yards because this offensive line is atrocious. They got to get it together. They got to get it together. And according to ESPN's metric, the Raiders' offensive line is dead last in the league in run blocking win rate. How y'all going to expect Ashton Jeanty to show us what he's really made of behind that? Behind that. That offensive line is not good enough. Those guys up front are not good enough. And shout out to Pete Carroll, head coach Pete Carroll over there for the Vegas Raiders, admitting that this offensive line has to build continuity. This offensive line has to get better. This offensive line has to do things in a better way to help us win football games. I respect any coach that come out there and hold themselves accountable, but then at the end of the day, these guys don't appear to be it. That's all I'm saying. They don't appear to be it. And they have to be better if you want to get the best out of Ashton Jeanty. Geno Smith is going to be able to do Geno Smith things. He's going to be able to help you win a couple football games. He might have a couple turnovers, but we know Geno Smith can ball. He can ball. This ain't what it was when he first started off in the NFL, y'all. Geno Smith can ball. But he ain't finna ball behind this bad offensive line. We want to see Ashton Jeanty ball. But he ain't finna ball behind this bad offensive line. 3 situations, three common denominators. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. They got to get it together. And the sad part is that it ain't much you can probably do right now since the season has started, unless you trade for maybe a backup lineman. Not a lot of teams are giving up offensive linemen at this point in time in the NFL. So this might be a season-long process. Now the Las Vegas Raiders go up against the Chicago Bears this Sunday in the midday block, you know, and the Chicago Bears just ran a 19-play drive to where they ran the ball 11 straight times versus the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? If the Bears are able to accumulate that helps the Chicago Bears wear down the Vegas Raiders defense. And then you got to have an offensive line playing from behind potentially. And now you allow the Chicago Bears pass rush to get off. And they ain't been that good either. But a struggling offensive line all off season might make cause for an ugly game. Now, we don't know how it's all going to shape out, but we do know that the offensive line gotta be better. They gotta be better. They have to. One thing working in the Vegas Raiders game this upcoming Sunday is that the Chicago Bears have not really fully leaned into their running game. They haven't run defense, They haven't fully leaned into their run defense. It has not been the best. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's something that the Raiders can exploit a little bit after watching some film, after putting together some game plan. Maybe that's something that they can draw up to help take advantage of some opportunities to get their offensive line going. Because we know, us football watchers know, that typically offensive lines start to feel comfortable about themselves when those 5-yard runs start to get up, 6 yards runs start to get up, 7-yard runs. Those runs start to get up, and you start to see a defender on the defensive line with their hands on their hips. You know what I'm saying? Taking deep breaths. That's confidence boosters in the offensive line. So we'll see what happens this upcoming Sunday. It should be an absolute fun game. But if you want to see Ashton Jeanty go out there and be his very best, hey, I almost called y'all Oakland, Las Vegas. Y'all got to be better with that with this offensive line, bro. But I don't know if it's too many things that they can do at this particular moment in time. But hey, that's my time. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Before y'all get up out of here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, for sure.
This has been a presentation